Hey everybody, it's Greg with RC Driver. Now this episode right here, I'm going to call this a follow-up episode. I recently posted episode number 7 of Get Into RC, and that talked about electric versus nitro RC cars. Well, I had left out gas cars in that particular video, and someone posed a question in the comment section below, well, what about gas? So I figured I'd follow up with this episode right here, and I'm going to call it episode 7.1. All right, and in this episode, we're just going to talk about gas cars in case you are thinking about getting a gas car for your first RC car. Now, as you can see, this is a large gas truck right here. Same with that thing as well. And these are ready to runs, and they're actually quite easy to get into. The reason why I left it out of the previous video is they are a very large vehicle. They tend to cost a lot more than the other cars that I talked about. And so, I guess they can be considered a first RC car, but there's some things you should think about. But first, let me talk about the car itself. So a fifth scale car like this comes ready to run, and it has, the body's painted, of course, and as you can see, it's all built. It comes with the electronics, even came with an onboard receiver battery, but there's still some things you're going to need to buy for it. So it comes with the radio, so typically you will need to buy some AA's for it. It comes with the onboard battery, but typically you'll need to buy a charger for it. And then it runs on 2-stroke gas, just like your weed whacker or your chainsaw. So just keep in mind that you need to have a fuel container. You'll need to buy some 2-stroke oil to mix in the gasoline. And it's kind of a neat option because it runs on similar gas as your weed whacker. You go down to the pump at the local gas station and fill up a gallon jug such as this and prepare your gas mix to run in it. And they work really well. They're really easy. Just like a chainsaw, they're fairly easy to fire up and run every single time. So I guess, yes, it can be a consideration for a first RC car. However, this is a very large machine. It weighs over 35 pounds and it's loud. It's just like a chainsaw or a weed whacker. It's got a noisy engine to it. So those are some factors to consider. You got a noise factor, you've got a large vehicle, so you're going to need a very large space to run it. And most importantly, you're going to have to be responsible. Now, if this is your first RC car, think about it. You're driving something this large, this fast. You have to be very responsible with where you're driving it. If this hits something, or worse, if it hits someone, that's a huge problem, obviously. So just keep that in mind. Yes, they're easy to start. They're easy to drive. Just consider your space factor. Consider other people around you. So if you say, Greg, I can handle all those points you talked about, then yes, go ahead, consider a gas car. The fuel is relatively inexpensive. You go down to the pump, you grab some gas and some oil, and it's just a few bucks and you can go run your RC car versus a nitro car. I don't think I touched about this on episode 7, but there is a cost factor in the fuel of a nitro car. Fuel is a bit more expensive than a gasoline car, so that's another thing to consider. But gas cars are a lot of fun. Just play with them responsibly. Hope you enjoyed this additional video for episode number 7. If you haven't subscribed to our videos, please do so and click on that little bell so you get the notifications that we have more videos coming up. And we'll see you next week for even more RC Driver videos.